Steve Bishop.
Present.
Terry Doty.
Present.
Jay Durov.
Here.
George Hansen.
Here.
Crystal Harlan.
Here.
Mark Nislusen.
Here.
And Richard Peterson.
Here. Oh, boy. Review and acceptance of minutes from July 5th, 2022.
I have not read those yet, so I am unable to make a motion.
I move that we accept them as made.
Second. All in favor? Chair's report. None. Code enforcement officer's report. Luke.
So the ordinance updates that we forwarded to the council have all been approved. That included the marijuana language, the zoning change for Route 1, and the zoning change of expanding the downtown zone up into the village there between Elm Street and Central. The proposal that we heard at the end of the last meeting from Bruce Ashmore regarding contract zoning of that place in the Heritage Park, that ended up getting scrapped. She found another place like 2 days later, so I hadn't even had a chance to write the contract zone yet, and he said not to worry about it. So that's where that sits. And honestly, zoning is important. I know that we've changed some things recently and that they can always change, but the industrial park is the industrial park for a reason. You know, there's a reason why we, like with the cannabis, we only allowed the production facilities to be there or in the industrial zone because they're hazardous. So things like that belong in a place like that, and day spas really don't belong next door to those. I know it stinks when you've got a space that looks appealing and she's got a business that she wants to put in there, but it really wasn't a good fit. I'm glad she found another location. It stinks for Bruce that they weren't able to rent to them, but it really should stay industrial, in my opinion. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay. Unfinished business. None. New business. A subdivision application review, Bucks Mills Village, Michael and Melissa Osborne.
So I have done a walk of the site with them, and I have done preliminary review of the application and found it to be complete. I found one little, and I mean little, issue which he's corrected, which was a stream that was talked about but wasn't shown on the map originally, but it is now. This is the site here. Most of you are familiar with this. This purple stretch here is the pipeline coming over from Alamoosic. So this map 6 lot 22 is the one that they're proposing the development in. It's been forested in the past. You can see a lot of the logging roads and stuff in there, but there's still some beautiful trees in there, and it's still more wooded than it looks like in that satellite photo, I think. But, that's the parcel we're talking about. Hopefully you've all reviewed your applications, and let Steve make his opening remarks if he has any, and dive into your review.
Hi all, Steve Salisbury from here from Salisbury. We're proposing for Mike and Melissa to do a two-phase development. We're going to start with 14 lots, and sometime in 5 years or more in the future, we'll come back and do the 10 other lots that we've penciled out plan. Reason being that DEP has less scrutiny of these subdivisions when done in stages. We won't plan on building all the roads, so the road will loop around and provide service for emergency vehicles. There won't be no dead end or turnaround. Submitted to you, we had Jim Kaiser do a stormwater management plan, which will require several areas shown on our plan to be set aside for vegetative buffers to treat the stormwater. Very few, very small treatment ponds to supplement those vegetative buffers. Most of it'll all be handled on site. All the stormwater treatments, sunny water running off site, there will be as good or better than it was before it crossed the property line. Like Melissa proposed, quite an extensive list of covenants. It's part of the application. Keep the nature of the subdivision the way they envision it. Thank you.
All right. Mike and Melissa, do you have anything to add to the proposal?
No, I want to thank you for your time for reviewing it, and we're open to any questions that the board might have about our intent or our vision. I'd sent a short PowerPoint to Luke earlier, and I'd be happy to go through that if you guys have time or if you want to see it.
Sure.
I can see everything. Don't worry. Do you want to talk about this stuff as it goes through, or?
If you guys want me to, yeah. Okay. Do you want to switch to presentation view, or does it really matter?
I would love to do that.
My eyes are not that good.
How do I go to presentation?
Go hit this button right here.
Slideshow, reading view slideshow?
Yep,
Oh, there we
perfect.
go.
So now you can just advance with your arrows.
Be best if you use the microphone. People can hear you on TV.
Oh, great. Okay, so this first slide is just sort of identifying the need in our town. I am a real estate agent, so I'm familiar with the housing market in our area and certainly the demand for housing. So this is a snapshot taken from main listings for the Bucksport area. It shows in the upper left the number of listings available. It remains low. We hover around 10 to 15 active listings.
I don't think that's probably 3 on there now, isn't it?
Well, that's right. So I took this yesterday. I don't know, and this might have pending, continue to show, those different sorts of categories they fall into. Listing prices continue to increase in this town. There's been a lot in the media about housing markets sort of decreasing. Ours is not. Our sold to list ratio still remains above 100%, which means people are getting more for their houses than what they're asking for them, which is an effect of demand. Our absorption rate, so this is the rate at which if no inventory was added to our market, that our inventory would be completely depleted. And we've hovered around 1 to 2 months for that for most of this year. It's crept up in the last couple months. Days on the market remains low. Usually, I think it's averaging, I think that's 5 days. I'm sorry, I can't see that far.
This one here is 5 days.
Under 30 days, anyway.
Yes.
So I think adding inventory to the market could help this situation. If you look at other sort of big suburb areas, Hamden, Herman, those homes are very, very expensive. And I think that Bucksport is a nice alternative to folks maybe looking in those areas who could find maybe a less expensive.
What is your target price point?
Coming to it. Can I get the next slide, please? Not this slide, but I'll get to it in a minute. So here's our anticipated timeline. So basically the review to the first home construction. We're here in August and talking to all of you about this. We anticipate the need to address any board concerns, outstanding items, any clarifications as needed from now till November. And we're hoping we could seek planning board approval sometime this fall, where we would start our infrastructure work. That would be our road work and power lines, some lot clearing. We've already talked to our subcontractors. We're using local folks, Wardwells for the road, Winkenpaw line for the power poles. And then hopefully by next spring, summer, we're ready to break ground on the first new home. Can you advance, please, Luke? So this is sort of the anticipated pace of the development. If you saw in your planner, we have lots 1 through 14 that are already laid out, and then the F lots are the future lots. So if you click your right arrow button, Luke. So July 2023, we'd start, in a front to back orientation. March, April 2024, October, and sort of making our way around this loop road as those lots are laid out. So in our covenants, you see it's single-family residences, possible duplex. I mean, some people like that sort of living style. 1,200 to 2,000 square feet. We have some architectural style limitations. We want minimum numbers of roof lines, minimum numbers of building corners, no trailers, double wides, tiny homes, yurts.
So it says here, the minimum square footage should be 1,000 feet, 1,000 square feet. Is it 12? Is that the correct
It
one?
can be 1,000. The style homes, the floor plans I picked out range from 1,200 to 2,000. But we put in the covenants if someone wanted a smaller home, then certainly 1,000 would be probably the minimum. We've put in our covenants to be built by us or an approved contractor that would go through us. Price range, around 350 to 450K, depending on building market, material volatility, and finish level. So here's a 1,600 square foot home. We prefer a single story on slab construction. I think it is appealing to a lot of people. Anyone who might need ADA accessibility, that helps with that too. You can go to the next one, Luke. Here's another style. We picked out, this one's a little bit larger. Most are 3-bed, 2.5 bath. Next one, this one is a little smaller, around 1,500 square feet. This one is a little bit larger, around 2,000 square feet. It's got a nice split bedroom layout there. Okay. And here's another one. This is a sort of, just to give you guys an idea of the architectural design. So Mike, my husband, is more than 20 years in residential construction. We have a wide scope of project scale that we've completed, from a $150,000 home to a $2.7 million guest house we just completed down in Blue Hill. Average build time for a typical 3-bed, 2-bath home is 4 to 5 months. I have our project portfolio in the following slides. We do have funding secured for this project in the form of personal assets and a commercial loan product from Camden National Bank. And I'll be providing Luke with a letter from our lender for that if we move to that. And just a little bit about us. Mike's a lifelong Bucksport resident. I'm a transplant from Orland. These are a few of our projects. This one on the right we just finished in 22. That's a guest house down in Blue Hill. The blue house is a little chalet we did out on Hancock Pond. The one in the upper left was an addition and a full-on remodel of, it was almost 6,000 square feet down in the middle. This was a carriage house we built up in Millinocket. This was our second spec home that we sold on upper Patton Pond. This, I forget where that house is, I think Branch. And then the one on the right is our first spec house that we sold on Smith Pond in T3 Indian Purchase. This is a little cabin we built down on Toddy Pond in Orland. This is like a salt box, modified salt box style that we built on the Hatchery Road in Orland. This is a house up in the subdivision on Forest Hill. And this is our house that we just completed in Millvale on the Jacob Buck Pond Road. So our goal is to add inventory to the depleted housing market. I anticipate 2 pathways: newcomers to Bucksport looking for housing, and maybe current residents who are willing to sell their house and want to move into a new construction home, maybe providing some lower priced inventory to meet a wider variety of buyers. We want to create a neighborhood where property values are protected by covenants. As a real estate agent, I've had the experience of listing a very beautiful house next to a house that was used as like a dump site and is very, very difficult to sell. And I think that neighborhoods where there are covenants in place that are enforced protects these property values for the residents. Our aim is that residents can enjoy spacious lots that align with the existing area homes and neighborhoods. I think you've seen from our lot size is pretty big. I think our smallest lot size is 1 point something acre, up to over 3 acre lots. So we really want to keep the feel of the neighborhood as you would drive through that road the same, with spacious lots where people can enjoy their privacy. That's all I have.
Would there be sidewalks?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
I don't
We
know.
hadn't talked about
Are they
that.
required?
Yes,
No.
if we say so.
So missing a lot of sidewalks.
In summary, you're pitching potentially $450,000 houses on slabs. Are they radiant heated?
Of course.
Okay.
Good question.
I'm gonna say,
And power to this is poles, not underground?
Right.
why is that?
Why, yeah, why is that? Today's subdivisions, you really want to put everything underground usually now.
We'll take donations.
Well, I understand, I'm just asking the question.
Cost, so I guess the primary reason would be cost, unless it becomes a town requirement that they want it
Right.
to be
But
run
You're putting in
underground.
nice homes here and thinking about the future, maybe fiber in the future, God knows what's going to be running down there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the old phone systems are gone, and we have to think in terms of what is going to really make this a beautiful lot. You know, the whole project.
Yeah, we
So-
can certainly take that into consideration. That's a great idea.
Have you done any research on like Bucksport's median income compared to what the median home sale price is to see what's needed for numbers specifically for housing for Bucksport?
There was actually an article that just came out, but that was for the state of Maine. You know, the median income for the state of Maine for home ownership, I think, was around $55,000. I want to say that might have been right out in the Bangor Daily. I haven't done specifics on Bucksport, and again, we anticipate that there might be people from Bucksport, there might be people from Bangor that would want to live in our beautiful little town, or people from away. So,
So you don't really have a specific target audience? No.
And they're all slabs.
they don't all have to be slabs,
Well, no,
but these are
I'm-
this is the style home that I've picked out.
Yeah.
There's a few lots, I think, the ones that are kind of on the back side of the loop road that might be amenable to like a daylight basement.
Right. But is there a
style.
reason why you're looking at just slabs and not putting in a full basement?
Yeah, because I'm old and I don't like to climb ladders, and it's I work with my husband in building houses, and we just like on slab
Well,
construction.
we hope some younger people might go in here then.
Is this the first community or our neighborhood that has covenants in Bucksport?
Oh,
No.
They all do.
Yeah.
What?
They all do. Muck Estates,
Royal
Oh,
Ridge,
okay.
Muss.
Royal Ridge, all the subdivisions have covenants.
That subdivision way out Bucks Mills Road has some pretty interesting ones, actually.
When you
There's
get into-
covenants on Jacob up where I live.
When you get into a higher price point, people want to see covenants because they don't want to put a house in there that's going to be $500,000 and have,
I wish we could adopt something like this for the village, where all new properties, anybody coming in agrees to grandfather everybody who's got a house right now.
so this is, my question, I guess, was just about the wetland situation. There's a lot of wetland in there. So I saw you guys had done quite a bit of information on that and like,
That's why we hired Steve.
yeah. So will that prevent on like where these houses will be able to be built? And is that had anything to do with why they were such big lots? You know what I mean? Because if you cut those lots down much, you wouldn't have a lot of buildable area anyways.
40,000 square feet of buildable space on
Yeah.
the lots. Some of those lots had to be paved to accommodate wetlands that are on the
Yeah.
properties.
I don't remember all of the covenants, but was there stuff in there about like people moving in and their use of that areas and such?
No, after the lot's sold, the wetlands will be regulated by the state of Maine.
Anyone else?
I have a question.
Please do, Jay.
In the entire parcel of your land there, how many abutters do you have completely around that?
It's listed.
4 or something, I think.
It's just three or
4 or 5.
Not many.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was a list of them, but it looks like there's 5 on the map.
There's a fifth one that comes to 140, and there's folks across Bucknell Road.
Do we have any abutters here that wanted to speak on anything? Come on up.
27 acres.
Come on up in front of the microphone and identify yourself. And
Cody Wilson. I own 27 acres to, I believe it's the east.
okay. Can we bring the map up, Luke, see if we can see which lot this is?
Yeah. It's labeled as Jeff. It's mine now. Right there, to the right, the pointed one. Yep.
This one here, up to the power line, and then let Jeff, no. Who owns this piece back here, 16?
Her name's Rosalind. I can't
Oh, she
remember.
bought
She's
that.
from out of state.
Okay.
Yep, that one right there is mine.
Okay, goes down to Russell Hill.
Oh, yeah.
We hunt, recreate, do all kinds of stuff up there. I've looked at the map, and in the state of Maine, there's legal distances you have to be from the dwelling to fire a weapon of any sort. And where these lots are going to be is going to drastically affect what I want to do. It's going to change what I have been doing.
Brought up a question that I was gonna, keep on talking.
And I guess my question is, why is what they want to do supposed to affect me, but what I want to do doesn't affect them?
And what do you want to do?
I want to continue to do what I've been doing, and family's been doing for generations. It's going to change what we typically do in there, and I'd rather not have that happen.
Looking at the map right now, you said, would you say how far away would you say you had to be?
300 feet from any dwelling or outbuilding.
300 feet from the
It doesn't have to be just a house, it could be a shed or whatever.
Okay. I'm looking at the lot sizes in feet right now.
The lots
What
come,
lot number is that? I can't tell. I'm just trying to look at the map lot. What lot is it? Is it 10?
Feet from the corner of the property line.
Is it
right, which
21?
is, that's right, I've looked at it, but
I think 200 feet from the corner of the property.
there's nothing stopping anybody from putting a house within the legal distance of a property line, which could end up affecting me in multiple spots from there to the point of the lot to the pipeline.
How about, flip it over the other way, Luke, put 300 feet onto that side.
Some of these lots aren't even
Yeah,
300
put 300
feet.
feet onto the proposed.
I understand that, but the ones that are on the property line, there's nothing stopping them from putting a house where it's gonna affect what I wanna do.
Put the peg on his property now, looking
Okay.
to this.
Yeah, this corner, I'm assuming, is lot F. We're talking about basically F7,
Future lots,
F3,
All the way up.
F2. Those aren't even,
Our minimum setback now is 10 feet.
one of them's 89
25.
feet,
Okay.
so you don't even have enough.
I'm just
to do
saying the
that.
potential is there. That's what I'm saying. I guess that's it. And I don't see how a town with an average income of 48,000 can justify $350,000 to $450,000 homes. I mean, you're basically Xing out however many people in this town that may want to do it. The last census said that income for this town averages 48,000.
Do you know, Luke, how many of the Osborne's lots are back? You've already,
Looks like F1, F2, F3. Just my
F1.
quick glance.
Yep, F1, F2, F3, a piece of lot 11 maybe.
I had that. I could look at that before.
Yep.
So, we're talking
Can you go the other way?
30 here.
Can you go, who's 7? Is that Clement?
Oh,
Clement is 7, right?
the measurement tool off.
That looks like Clement's lot.
This is Clement's lot.
Well, he's got a trailer park in there.
No, that's up
It's not a
here.
trailer park.
He has a trailer park right there is approved.
Oh, that's
There's nothing, no.
That's north.
Clement
isn't it?
has one. He's not, it's approved. He has it all done out and he has lots built up. After subdivision, after that, in between his house, up top has a trailer park in there.
Oh, okay.
This?
That is approved for a trailer park. Last I talked to Bruce about that. 3 or 4 lots, at least.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot. That's more north though, isn't it? Okay,
This round's full, this round.
that's good.
Wasn't that's Bruce's lot. I'm just saying how far up is this going? Up there.
Well, what you're talking about, that lot is,
Okay, his lot doesn't go up past that line.
No, that line stops it right there.
That pointed lot
the
right there.
subdivision is
Okay, I didn't know where his lot was compared to that.
almost half a mile away. Third of a mile away.
Cody's lot is from that.
Cody's lot is right here,
From that
the
street,
pipeline
from
down
that,
here.
yeah, pipeline.
How far is his house, the
This is
farmhouse?
the pipeline here. So F1, F2, F3 would be abutting him. And maybe lot 11.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's a stream there, so lot 11 is not going to be building anywhere near the back.
Yeah, same thing with, there's a wetlands in
F2.
F2. And then
It's got wetland.
the corner of F7 is as well.
You're really talking about a section of F3 and only F1.
Yeah. Okay, you man, anything else you wanted?
That's it, thank you.
Okay.
I have another question.
Yep, go for it.
You're going to expand on this over time, am I correct?
Yeah.
So it's going to be larger than the 14, 15 lots we have here now?
You're looking at 24 right now.
Right, 24 here, okay?
I'm gonna ask.
What I'm not seeing, and it's out in the country a little bit, which is nice, what I'm not seeing is a park or anything like that for children. You know, no playground, no place to go. And I just wonder why it's all about the lot and not about building a community. That's,
These aren't in town, so it's out.
it's out there, and I'm saying that if you're going to have children out there, it'd be nice to have something where they can go to.
There's room for a swing set on 3.77
There you go,
acres.
that's what I'm hoping,
Okay,
that they build a park up there.
it'll be fine.
Yeah,
It'll be fine.
thank you, Steve.
The wells and the septics, each lot you propose to have its own well and its own septic.
Yes.
And you anticipate for the road to be taken over by the town of Bucksport at some point,
If you would like it.
if we
It will
would.
be built as spec.
Yeah. Did we get a
I
hold of?
asked him, never replied.
Yeah, I called him, and I wanted, when I was reading this, I really wanted some input from Jay Lampert from the town on this, because I'm just aware that those things have gone differently in the past, and I'd really like to know where we're at with that now. Sometimes it takes a little time. I don't know, like, you know of one that has been proposed to be built, to be taken over from the town before it's even completed? That-
Oh, yeah, they know.
that we have done really soon. I mean, I know Royal Ridge, for example, was what, 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, it's usually, you know, and this would take time too. It's not going to be,
Yeah.
there would be no reason you would take it over right away. But once it's all fully built out and just back everything, you know, I know that like Race Course Road, that one was supposed to have a turnaround at the end, and somehow it got screwed up and approved and taken over and assessed value. I blame that as much on the code officer and public works people at the time as I do the developer.
Yeah.
If they're not gonna hold his feet to the fire, then that's on them.
Okay. I just don't want us to inherit something that's gonna cost a lot of money. That's all. What about blasting? Have you done any research on the blasting? I see there's a section in there that there might maybe some required.
Yeah, we didn't get any, observe any ledge outcrops or any of the soil sampling we did, but you're only going down 24 inches, 30 inches, so you don't know what you're going to do.
Okay.
There won't be too much hot, won't be any deep ravines. Building this road is going to follow the natural grade as much as possible.
If you're gonna try to do slabs and not
You don't
do,
expect much blasting, I guess.
not do full foundations, you're not burying power lines, then you're really not gonna have to be digging too much other than septics anyway, right?
You wouldn't blast for septic anyway, because it never passed the soil test to start with.
Yeah, perfect.
We're not saying that some homes can't have a foundation under it. Just the ones that we build, most likely won't.
Yeah.
Spec up.
Right.
This pipeline going through, Steve, this is a water pipeline?
Yeah.
Yeah, from Alamos to the lake. And the mill used to pump water over to the,
Right, used to.
yeah, it's inactive, but it still could be used if they ever wanted to, although it's higher.
Well, I would think it'd be pretty tired. That's what it was used for, now it's laying dormant. Interesting that it happens to be there, though.
Did you say you just built a house on Jacob Buck Pond Road? Was that what you said? Your address and the deed for that piece of property says that you live on Orchid Mountain Road. I know that's off.
We still got Orchid Mountain Road.
Oh,
What is, maybe I'm confused. So the 14 lots, I see that. And then you said you're gonna do more after that?
Yes.
Where's that map? I'm sorry.
It's all on the same map.
They're labeled F, 1 through 10.
Oh, okay, so there's still part of this, there's not
Right.
additional
That's
to
correct,
that? Oh,
yes.
okay.
That's why I asked earlier.
That's what I was, all right, I'm following.
You and I
now.
had the same
I
question.
was like, I know.
Those are just there for reference.
Yes.
Yeah,
We're not considering those.
Yeah.
They will have to come back and go to the planning board again when the time comes for that, if it ever comes. There was supposed to be a phase 2 for Royal Ridge. Never happened.
right, but the road and stuff is gonna go in like it was gonna, like they're doing the big turnaround
You said
road and
you were
all
gonna
that,
do the
right?
whole road.
We're gonna have the whole road roughed in at this point.
Yeah.
Should we fail, we don't want to fail on 24 lots.
Yeah.
We'd rather fail on
Totally, I
14.
get that, understood, okay. So, we're gonna go to here, and then there. All right, I see what she was saying with the picture she had
Oh,
up there.
this is later.
Okay. So it might not even affect your land if they don't go on to the next phase. Those are part 2 phases, right? That was F3, F4,
Except
F2,
one
F3.
road. The
F1, 2.
one side of lot 11.
Right, yeah, small section, yeah.
I'm just curious on why it's separated into phase 1 and phase 2, I guess. we just-
If you go more than 14 lots, you end up having to get a site law development act permit from the DEP, which is expensive and time consuming and not really worth the hassle. So most subdivisions end up being 14 lots, and then after 5 years, you can do more without having to do a slow permit.
So you have to wait 5 years and then you don't have to do that. You can just.
They could not wait 5 years if they wanted to go ahead and do the SLOTA thing, but otherwise, yeah. But
Yeah, that's right. Nobody in the right mind's gonna do a solar application for a residential subdivision. It's just way too expensive.
It's a lot of engineering. It's a lot. It's like what Whole Oceans had to do. The mill had 2 or 3 site law permits. And once it exists forever, and anytime you change anything on that property, you've got to modify it. It's just not something people want to deal with. Thank you.
Cody, how wide is your property right there on those three abutting ones with them? How wide are your property lines?
Honestly, I don't know. It's about 520 feet. That's what
Can you
it's
figure out why this is here like that? Why they didn't come together?
I'm not saying this is perfectly accurate, but that's.
You might have something with it. No, it doesn't have to do with the wetlands.
So,
On the map, looking in between lots F7 and F8, there's a void section of land there that seems to be unaccounted for. It's just not showing up what its purpose is on this particular map. It may on another one.
like a future road or something.
That's what it's for, just showing that we've considered making access available to the neighbor. It's just a possibility. It's not even part of the development we're talking about now, but that piece of land is a long ways from other road frontage.
To allow access to. So I will say, from a real estate point of view, just a stat here, just throwing this out here, that the average houses that were sold this year was 37, according to the main listings, and 55 were sold at this time last year. So we are continuously dealing with a housing crisis in this town. Regardless of price, I think price is a problem we're dealing with in general right now. I think inflation is a problem that we're dealing with on top of the lack of housing. Our increase of price per point has gone up incredibly. Like a house that was $150,000 is now almost $250,000 for the same quality of house. So you're not paying for the quality, you're paying for the fact of having a home to buy.
The demand.
And that is a problem. So we're not fixing the quality of housing that we have to provide for the people in our area. They're just paying more for a lower quality. So if we have a good quality to provide people, that will help everybody, I think, in the town, as far as like the value of your home and different things like that, but also bring more housing to the area, whether it looked like that or any other way.
I have another question. Your road coming in, okay, which typical size, any ledge at all on that road coming in?
No, that's the, we don't think so.
None. Okay. All right. So there's nothing to stop you from digging trenches if you wanted to dig a trench?
Ditching?
I'm saying, yeah, underground power. He's got it in the back where I'm going.
Extremely expensive.
Well, hey, I did it back 40 years ago. I mean, it's not a
They
big
did
deal.
it in Hans subdivision, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, expensive.
Yeah?
I mean, it looks great, but it costs them a small fortune.
Yeah.
Well, again, if they can build it into the price. I mean, I'm just asking the
Then
questions.
that defeats, there's already an issue about the cost of a home.
Yeah, I understand all of that. I just don't know what the average is. I don't know what the average is, so if you told me,
It's expensive, let alone the wire.
no, we understand all that. I'm just talking about burying it versus up above.
Yeah.
Because burying it, you never have to worry. There's a storm, trees come down, you're not worried about your division.
And it would look nice, I agree.
I'm just looking at the future, trying to.
All right. Yeah, that is quite a list of covenants there, isn't it? Anyone else?
This is the requirement in your covenants for paved driveways out in the, I mean, they're out in the woodland. It seems like that's,
I didn't hear you. What did you say?
He was
paved
saying
driveways, either paved or
driveways
concrete,
being
out of your
Oh,
your
yeah.
covenant. And you're out in the woods.
Well, the road's gonna be paved.
I'd rather put the money underground. Be true looking for
It is,
He's my buddy.
under number 4.
what'd you say, under number 4?
Covenant number
covenant.
4,
Yep.
driveways and parking areas shall be covered with concrete or pavement within 12 months of starting the
No metal-sided buildings on any lot. All buildings shall have a concrete basement or frost wall type construction.
You folks are gonna be obviously this is your contract, your land. Are you gonna say you have to buy the home from me, in other words, build the home? Is there a reason why? No, I have to ask the question, because I wanna hear the answer.
Okay.
I'm learning.
Well, she said there was contractors.
No, I understand, there's contractors. But you could set that up so where you could control everything as far as if you were the contractor building all the homes.
You could.
And where you own the land, you could set that in place for yourself if you wanted to. Is there a reason why you're not?
We did. So that is covenant 20. Covenant 20,
Yeah, I don't have it open in front of me,
It's right here.
and it says,
page 86, all homes in phase 1, phase 2, must be general contracted and are constructed by Mike Osborne, general contractor. That it can be waived on a lot-by-lot basis with written consent, and we would have to approve the builder or contractor.
okay, so you would approve who's going in. Thank you. I wanted to really understand with the property and all, that you're trying to control the whole thing to make it a nice,
We just don't want somebody to,
exactly, and that's what I'm feeling here, is that you're trying to make sure that this is gonna be a nice project.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look at some of the, Wicklow Homes is one that comes to mind, the subdivisions of it, in Camden. That builder is buying big tracts of land, subdividing it, and putting in similar covenants and restrictions that the homes have to be Wicklow custom homes.
Mhm.
So, it's pretty common practice, I
you for
think, for
looking
this
at
type of thing.
No, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Luke, I'm looking at the footage here. Well, let me ask this question a different way. If Royal Ridge wanted to continue to add on, is that already approved? That doesn't have to come back in front of us?
It would have to come back
It would, based on the timeline or based on the project?
based on phase 1 was the only one that the planning board approved.
Okay,
So phase 2 was talked about, but it was never approved.
okay.
It was just something that he thought he might do, and I think at this point, if I remember correctly, he sold the land.
Yep,
I could be wrong about that, but I believe the developer sold the land.
okay.
So I don't think it will ever happen now.
So your timeline, are you going to be asking for phase 1 and 2 to be approved at once? Just phase 1 first?
Phase one.
Yeah, okay. Because of the 14 lot?
Right.
Gotcha. All right. Okay. And phase 1 does not, looking at this map that is provided to us, looking at the measurements for the footage, phase 1 does not interfere with Mr. Wilson's property at all.
Other than lot 11, they said.
Lot 11 on the top.
But I'm not 100% sure where that line is.
Yeah, well, there's wetland there with the stream as well.
Right,
Okay.
Can't build there,
right.
but you can build right up to it.
That little corner by the pipeline.
But most of these homes are
They're gonna,
be
I was
right
gonna
up
say, they're gonna be near the
Right
soil
here,
pit.
yeah.
They're not gonna be
there. Yeah, they're gonna be in
off
here.
in La La Land. This house is gonna be over here. This one's gonna be
That's
down
right.
there.
Yep, they're gonna be as close as they can comfortably.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yep.
What does covenant item 8 refer to? I get a little confused because sometimes owners are capitalized and sometimes it isn't. I don't know if it refers to each lot owner or if it refers to you folks as the owners.
It refers to us as the owners. I think we're defined as the owners in the first paragraph. So that simply means that if someone wants to, say, purchase a lot and build their own home, we need to approve their home plan to make sure that it meets our minimum architectural requirements.
So there's like a cohesive look to the whole place. Can you have two-story houses, or are they all gonna be one-story? Is there anything on there?
We like a one-story, but they can be two. I mean, honestly, I just picked out plans that I liked.
Yeah, I was just
That
wondering.
kind of fits our build style, and we are not unopposed to people who would approach us and want to purchase a raw lot, and pending their plans are approved by us, then they can, build what they want to build there, if it fits with the lot. I know it's hard to tell by looking at the map, but there are some lots that would afford nicely a daylight basement concept, a chalet style house that would be, 1.5 stories.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or?
Do we have an average price on the lots? I mean, you gotta put a road in, you gotta do all that work, I mean,
Hadn't really thought about that at this point.
Okay.
I guess it would depend on the market,
I understand.
any other.
Yeah, I didn't know if you'd given it any consideration where you're putting the road and everything in.
Yeah,
It'd be nice to know what the lots are gonna go for. I'm sure they're gonna be expensive lots.
I don't think they'll be ridiculous.
Oh, no.
I mean,
I'm not picking that up.
yeah, I mean, I know what I'll have in each lot,
Mhm.
so I don't want to give them away, but at the same
Right.
time.
Yeah, looking at phase 2, I don't know if it's possible to do any sort of redesign or anything. I understand these projects have to be profitable, but I'd be curious to see what sort of setbacks and measurement scenarios you could come up with for placing the houses on that bordering property of Mr. Wilson's land that wouldn't affect his lifestyle at all, to not encroach on what he's doing. Looks like that may be
Certainly
few,
look at that.
that's a few years down the road,
Yeah.
but that's,
Well, it is, but the road is gonna be put in now. And the road, once it's in, kind of locks in.
and that's,
But
yeah, I guess you're right, on that middle lot, was that 240 something feet where that purple line is right there? Let me open it up again.
And the road being completed is important to the superintendent. He liked that there was a loop.
Oh, I see what Luke's saying, yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
So the part of the road that's for phase 2 is really just gonna be a turnaround.
You see what he's saying here.
Well, no, they're gonna put the road in all at once.
Well, yeah,
I
but
think
it's
the
gonna
only
be,
lot that I really.
Yeah,
it's gonna call the turnaround.
Yeah, no, but it's gotta be 300 feet from the
They're
dwelling
apart.
Yeah.
Well, even so, if it's
So this is
a,
200 feet
Yeah.
right here.
Can't be phase
So that
2.
means he'd have to
if
be,
it's a road, it's also gonna be a
100 feet
public
over on
access
his
way, and I
end.
think by law,
he'd have to
public
be-
access way
if the
also
house is here, let's say
falls
100
under
foot
the
in.
Yeah.
structure requirements.
Now
for
he's
fire.
gotta have 200 feet over here
Right.
on that side to
Firearms
go
for
hunt
hunting.
in this area,
Right,
For-
technically.
right.
Yeah, but if he, that would be way away.
And again, you don't wanna go, you just don't wanna shoot anyone.
It's like, is it like 10 yards? You can't shoot within 10 yards from the road. I mean, obviously, you can't shoot over it. I think if you're a bird.
Yeah, the house.
Right, I know, but before, if there's no houses, just the road.
Yeah.
10 feet off of
That's what I thought.
standard road, and
Yep.
50 feet off the highway.
Yep,
Okay. So that wouldn't affect anything right now?
no, that would not.
Be those few lots, the one, this,
That's one, and
yeah, four,
down the road.
maybe 3 lots on the second phase.
this
that would
has
be
got
in
a
question.
stream, so you've got.
But anyway,
that
I'm just
buffer.
throwing that out there,
Yeah, a
something to
little
think
bit
about
of a
would be
buffer,
neighborly.
yeah.
It's not very often that we get a butters with a concern, so
Mhm.
that's something that I definitely think we need to take seriously.
Yeah.
How about monumentation? I said, how about monumentation? Is a number of the plan that all these property corners are to be set in the future?
Yeah, we haven't set, we won't set them until you give your blessings to the project, then we'll set the monumentation, get the plan recorded
Yeah,
after
we
that.
probably ought to have some sort of timeline for doing that. It used to be we wouldn't approve a subdivision without having monumentation in place, but that's kind of back, I'm showing my age a little bit. In today's world with
They measure it with lasers now. All right.
GPSs.
All right.
satellite dishes and all that happened.
All right.
I'm wondering if there's a way that you could put a covenant or something, some type of a buffer on the back side of those F1, F2, and F3. Obviously, it's not going to be 300 feet. You can't, but some type of a compromise. I see there's a stream back there too.
Like he was saying, they
So
put a shed.
maybe between the
No,
stream,
it's 300 feet from the shed.
300 feet from the stream would let, give you, with something like that.
Yeah,
Right.
that's nothing we gotta work out now, but that's definitely a
Well, no, but it's
seed.
something that they can,
That's a seed to be planted for the future, that's for
something
sure.
we can work on so that,
It would affect
You don't have to
F1
change
because of
the
the way the
plan.
soil test pits are.
and it looks like on F2, that tan area is wetland, right? So you're not gonna be building back there anyways, so you're probably gonna be about where it says 1.28 there. Kind of
Nobody's gonna want that lot.
Who's that?
Never
cheap.
seen.
That's the part.
That's a 1,000-acre house,
Yeah.
or
Good.
1,000 square feet house.
That's the square, yeah.
So F1 is really like, just quick glancing where the test pits are is the only thing I can see that would be like really pushing it as to like where they would build, right? Because you kind of consider that they're gonna put their house somewhere near these test pits.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, they're not gonna, is there elevation there? Or is that just,
There's elevation.
these are all elevation lines,
Yeah.
right? So it's
Yeah.
gonna have to have a pump system unless it's near it, I would assume.
Down, so the septic field would be down here, but
Yeah.
this would be uphill.
So that's uphill
The
there?
high ground is near the road,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I would presume the house would be near the road in this situation.
Yeah.
Rather than feed into the leach field.
I think if we could put some kind of a, if it's not too big of a burden, if we could try and put a buffer between that back line, just saying, on those lots that are bordering his property, we won't build the house back. Whatever. I mean, they can still do whatever they want back there, just not build the
Well,
house back.
again,
Or a structure.
Right,
yeah,
so-
the thing is, you could move
Yeah.
these lots, the road
Some
could
type
get
of compromise.
cut in,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm looking
and
at
these lots here could be downsized.
All right. I think we've talked that one over. Do we need anything else accomplished on that, Luke?
We will have a public hearing at the next meeting,
Okay.
which I will advertise and send out our notices again, and go from there. Is there anything you need changed on the plan, or anything that's, are you guys good?
Obviously, some work for the next meeting on that setback scenario seems to be the biggest
Change the road a little, baby.
thing pressing right now.
Even that is phase 2, so really,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna,
mean, it would certainly make them feel more at ease, for sure, but
I do plan on
Is it
preparing.
necessary, or, my question is it necessary? Like, how does the plan?
You want to step up here and talk in the mic?
Yeah, I do.
I'll let you
Birthday
know.
girl.
Hey, Joe York. I was just wondering, like, looking at the information you have now, is there a reason that the planning board would not accept the plan? I mean, do you guys, do you do approvals based on facts, or like how you feel about the situation? I guess was kind of the question I had, just listening.
yes, you're absolutely right, no, it's not something you can make them do. It's
Yes.
something I'm asking if they could do,
Sure.
to try and be good neighbors.
Completely understandable, but like you said you can build within 25 feet of a property line, any house of a sort, yeah, okay. And so my question was, is with the information you have now, is the first phase somewhat approved already, or, I mean, what do you at the planning board have to?
Phase 1 tonight, because we have to have a public hearing.
Okay,
It's required by the ordinance.
and the public hearing does what, allows other people to talk, or that's when you bring up the information about why it wouldn't be possible to have it? Have,
Allows the people, the abutters, a chance to come in, or anybody else. This
Okay.
one was, we send out notices, but we didn't advertise it in the paper and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Pretty standard to have at least 2 meetings for something of this size, so.
Super. Awesome, yeah, I just was wondering how the planning board decided yes or no on it, was kind of what we were getting at.
Well, like I said, I went through the application beforehand, and looked for content to make sure that it has all the items that are required in the ordinance. And the ordinance is practically a checklist of, must show this, and
It's all there.
and it's all there.
Okay.
So that's why most of the questions you're getting tonight are curiosities and
Sure.
and things versus an application that isn't as complete as this. They'd be going, well, you didn't tell us where you're going to get your water, or you didn't tell us
Yep.
whatever, and those types of things aren't being asked because it's all provided.
Perfect.
It's a good application.
Okay, great, super. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Moving on. Administrative business. Review of Chapter 6 of the Town Code, licensing. Huh?
I asked the question earlier, I don't think, maybe I missed it. Was there anything that you wanted to see on the final plans that if we approved it, would be signed at the next meeting, that you didn't see tonight?
I think there's enough information here to meet a level 2 review. I don't think, or for our standard review has all the. Did you, anyone else see anything missing?
No, we asked the questions if we could buffer, if we could move things a little bit, but, that's all.
Pretty thorough.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to check, well, we got them right here.
Okay.
Thank you all.
There's a lot of information to review. I'm glad you got it to us last week.
Yeah.
That's a very nice,
Very nice.
that's a lot of information.
All right. Ready to move on then?
Ready to go, everybody.
All right. Review of Chapter 6 of the Town Code, licensing and regulation of marijuana establishments.
Wait, what?
That's what it says.
Oh, yes.
Chapter
Chapter 7. Sorry.
That's
I
what.
was thinking we were back in
No,
land use.
that's what it
So this
says.
was the regulation. We have gone over, whoops, I'm on the wrong screen here. We went over, and then we tabled it because we're waiting to find out how the police felt about the background check issue, if you recall.
Because we were talking about the state compared to what the town.
Correct.
About the town fronting doing any background checks compared to the state doing any background checks.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to pull this up. I've got an email here from the state that when I requested information, and the key points here are highlighted. Applicants are required to disclose all state and federal crime convictions of any offense involving dishonesty, deception, misappropriation, or fraud, as well as any pending prosecutions or such offenses. The department shall consider the following in determining whether to grant a license. The recency of the offenses, the number and frequency of the offenses, the evidence of rehabilitation, including employment and educational attainment, and the character references submitted by the applicant. There's more, but those were the things that the state thought were the most. But I mean, things like they can't have had their certificate revoked in the past. So, I sent this to Dave and Sean. I haven't heard back from Dave. Sean is of the opinion that the state's background check is probably enough. That if they have a license from the state, valid license, then that should probably be enough for the town as far as...
Did you ever talk to the town's attorney on that, about any sort of piggybacking liability if we don't do our own and we just took the state's word for it, and if it would drag us into anything? Or?
Well, I don't know why it would drag us into anything. I mean, we're granting a license to operate,
Yeah.
but they have to have a valid license from the state in order to even apply.
Yeah.
And our rules state that if they lose their license from the state, then they automatically lose their license from us. So,
Or is there any, like, past history of us being liable for a private commercial, you know, somebody trips in Hannaford, they're gonna sue the town? I mean, you know, did I misunderstand your question?
No, it's just the idea that if we did not issue our own permit or do our own background check or research and just adopted anything that the state had done, if the state had missed anything, or if there were any other problems that came because of that, where would that leave us?
Well, since we didn't do the background, we didn't do that, right, the background check, now, how could we be liable? You know what I mean, if their permit, you know, if they're okay with the state, I think the state would be liable if anything would be liable. But I don't know.
Unless I guess the state kind of have, or a friend who kind of slide it through.
Well, then that's criminal.
Well, yeah, but
That's-
saying that
then we're
it's
not-
possible.
Yeah, I guess, but that wouldn't be, we're still not liable in that
Sorry,
case.
Luke.
It's something illegal at this, on the state level. I just don't see how we could be held liable for what goes on in a private business. I mean, that, if in all good faith, we assume that this is accurate information.
I agree. But at the same time, if we start doing a background check, we're gonna have to nail down exactly what criteria we're going to say exempt somebody from being able to get a license. Whereas if we let the state determine it, we don't have to.
I mean, if we wanted to take that mantle on, it could be litigious, and that could be the bigger headache.
Could be expensive.
Correct. I think using the state as a guideline here seems to make common sense to me.
And I totally agree with that.
I think you're on the right track there, Mark. I don't
As
see
long
where
as
the-
it doesn't hurt us.
But the question, following up on Mark, is if the state revokes the license, do we get notice?
I'm sure we would.
How?
True.
know.
They
Well,
don't,
they have to renew their license annually.
Yes.
So in theory, they could operate for a few months without a license
Good
from the
question.
state.
All right.
But I would assume that that's illegal as far as the state's concerned.
No disagreement, I was just wondering.
Would get into that sort of records conduct like that.
And doing a background check on us would not reveal their license being suspended, so it was just a question, if it is, do we get to find out? Evidently not.
like, speaking from having a hair, obviously different, but when I had my hair salon, I had to have a license to be an establishment, but also had to have a license to conduct doing hair. But that had nothing to do with my business, and the town wouldn't have known if I had a license unless I looked it up.
I think the cannabis industry is going to be more scrutinized than a lot of other industries. Or a lot
Well,
of
yeah,
other
I'm just
shop-
saying
you know what
that
I
I
mean?
don't think there's gonna be a way, if they got their license revoked for, maybe they end up getting one of those, whatever they said on there, was their fine, it was their, what was the thing that they were looking for with the background checks? So if one of those things happened and their license was removed, we're not gonna know about it anyways.
Probably not.
I think Mark makes a good point. I don't see what we gain by doing our own background check.
Expense and a headache,
Okay,
everything I don't want.
so do you want to, it's been 2 months since we read down through this, do you want to go through it again, or are you comfortable with just taking the background check stuff out, and how do you guys want to proceed?
I'm
I, for
comfortable.
one, think we've passed through it so much.
Okay.
Don't you want to hear it again?
I'm very comfortable.
I'm comfortable with taking the background check stuff out
And sending it to the council.
and sending it to the council. Yeah.
Do you want to?
Are you?
Oh, we have to have the public
All right.
hearing.
Okay, at this time, we'll open the public hearing.
Is the phone ringing?
Everybody laughed.
Well,
Yes, you are.
you are the public, and it's true, I have opened and closed them very fast in the past, and I need to let the phone ring. Well, go ahead and step right up and identify yourself, please, to the...
I know. So I don't want to do that.
My name is Sue Walsh, and I admit I'm an old fart, but do we have to allow a marijuana dispensary in our town? Is this what we want? Verona's not close enough with the one? I mean, is this something we have to do, or is this something we're considering doing?
This is a town code and ordinance scenario, correct? Ordinance as well?
Right, so
This is not a project, any project specifically.
So is
Still
this,
needs to come before us to get approved.
is this something that the town can decide, hey, we don't want this in our city
That ship,
limits?
I think, is sailed because the council's already said they do want it, and,
Or would allow it.
Oh, right,
and have,
and not
approved the
downtown.
ordinance
Right.
to allow it. This, what we're discussing tonight, is the regulation for licensing.
Okay.
So what this chapter is the requirements that someone has to meet in order for the town to issue a license for them to have an establishment. They still would have to come to the planning board and have it approved, and they would have to meet all the requirements in the land use ordinance that the council already approved.
It's going in my neighborhood, isn't it?
Probably not.
Most likely, it's going to be in the Gringo Insurance Building.
Yeah, my neighborhood. Talking about the people and the state licenses that they have to have, if there's a violation that causes them to lose whatever state accreditation they have, who is going to know about this? Who's going to monitor this? Is it going to be our police department's responsibility to be in the know of, oh gee, John Jones is lost or John Smith is...
Right, that's what we were just discussing, and we're not sure at this point whether the state will notify us.
Because
or
I see a problem for our police department. If they happen to pull somebody or one of these owners over for speeding, they're going to be putting themselves in double dutch, because now that marijuana person has the ability to say, you're picking on me. I don't want to put our police department in a bad position. I like our police department. They're really great people. But does that make sense?
Yep.
I just, if the police are going to be the ones that have to make sure or review or be notified when there's a violation that costs them their license,
It wouldn't be the police, it would be me.
it would be you?
Code.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need a raise.
I'll sue.
All right, I'm going to go back to my private report.
All right.
John Daniels came to see me, and I promised I'd be at this meeting, and then I found out tonight that you voted on my issue last week. It's like, I'm going to kill him. I am just...
So we will close the public hearing,
It's on the record.
and we will move on to Section B, Appendix K, Land Use Ordinance, Review of Proposed Changes to Downtown Zone Boundary.
Am I up?
You're up.
Can we see that cool thing again?
Yeah, you're gonna see it.
Yay!
You are up.
Yeah, because I have to show Mark's property as well.
Yeah,
Because
that was really
it's a
neat.
cool project. There's nothing neat about this.
You want
I tell you what.
this HDMI cord, or are you just going to disconnect that?
I'm gonna disconnect it.
I'm not part of this, though, other than just...
No, you're not part of it.
More of a curiosity, if that's what I'm asking here.
No, well, he's just gonna show us your
My,
where he got his dirt from.
okay.
Okay, that should have been picking it up. It is.
You there?
The computer went
Long
to
cord,
sleep.
it takes a while for it to get...
Did you set that up higher?
Probably.
No, I'll leave it there.
That's pretty good.
So as some of you know, I've been getting into drone and the drone business, having a good time. Show you what I've been kind of doing. It might make a little bit more sense when you see it. So,
Even though you're talking drone stuff, you are going to discuss the matter at hand, right?
yes, I am going to discuss. That's why I'm having this up.
The matter is to request is a request to include Richard Peterson's property, map 32, lot 122. So you would like to include your piece of property
And I'd like to include one other piece of property
in the downtown.
in the downtown section.
And I will apologize, because last meeting, he said that, but he's such a goofball that I thought he was teasing.
I totally thought you were joking.
It's okay, Terry wasn't here, so she didn't have to hear all that about me.
So this other piece of property
Yes,
you're requesting to
Yeah.
be added to downtown
yes.
isn't on Elm Street.
No, it's not central. Yeah, it's the Woodward
I
property.
didn't know if you were at, you were...
Yeah, no, I'm not
I
going.
needed to know if you were trying to tell me something.
No, no.
What are you flying?
And tonight,
I'm flying my drone on 3D, you can see it
No,
up
but I
there.
mean, what do you have, a DJ?
I have a DJI Air 2S. Yes, with a
So,
1-inch CMOS.
Let me interject here for a minute.
Yes.
You want to include the Woodward property into the downtown.
And there's a
master
reason,
plan.
and there's a reason for
Have
that.
you talked to the Woodwards?
You want to buy
I don't need to talk to the Woodwards.
Okay.
Okay, I can explain and why. Okay, as you can see, their garage here has holes in it, okay? It's dilapidated, it's falling down. Luke, you sent them a letter, what? What'd you send them?
I guess it's public knowledge.
Yes, it
I
is.
sent them a notice of violation for the garage because it's a dangerous building, and I think if it weren't for the stuff inside, it would probably have already fallen down.
Yeah.
And also for the vestibule on the front of the house.
Right here. The roof
is
on that porch.
fallen.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and the side porch. Go ahead, keep going.
And I tried to be nice about it because honestly, I mean, I know they're having a hard time. But honestly, that vestibule, if it's not repaired soon, then it's gonna be more damage to the house itself. And it doesn't take long before it gets to the point where something's not savable.
Okay.
And the house has got a lot of history, and it was kept up very well for many, many years, and then it's just...
The last 25 or 30, nothing's really been done.
Yeah.
And Ryan is getting married this week, Saturday, moving out. So his mom will be by herself, and I think the family informed you.
They did. They got the junk cars hauled off, but they have not got the garage down yet. And they said that they don't have the desire to try and fix the house the way it should be, so they're gonna sell it.
Right. So it's going on the market. It's actually on the market now without a sign, as far as I know. Dick Campbell.
So the mother was the only one living in there now?
She will be, yes.
It's a pretty house. It's my kids went to daycare.
What's nice
house.
house. When I cut my...
Scott Woodward.
Scott,
Yeah,
yeah.
Scott
Passed away.
He was always working on the house. But
You listening, Ryan?
I am. I'm listening to you.
It'd be nice if the house could be saved. You know, if you look in the back roof under the trees where it's really got damage, I'm not sure that they can save it, but that's another story for another time. As you know, this building here, this apartment, and I'm sorry I can't really
Multiple apartments.
move
we
it.
know.
Yeah,
Across from the church.
right. So Luke, why don't you tell them what you found out about this one?
So that one, I had sent a long list of violations. I've been all through the property with the fire department. And a lot of the requirements for repair included exterior work, which was too hard to do in the winter, and so they were going to be tackling a lot of those projects this summer, and then the owner passed away. So the family from Massachusetts had contacted me and said it's in probate right now, but that they have no interest in doing any kind of repair work or owning that property, so that is most likely going to be for sale.
They weren't even sure they could save the building if they did do anything.
Yes, and so I've already told the tenants that they need to be looking for new homes. And they...
How many are there that would be displaced?
There's 2 apartments in there. One is a couple, and the other one is a single mom. And I don't know how many kids she has in there. I think it's just one or two, I'm not sure exactly. And she totally, they all get it, and they all are
I'm sure
pretty
they-
not happy to be living there anyways. So the question is, can they find something, because there's just nothing out there to rent right now. So
Just
hopefully they can find something while it's warm and before winter comes.
how close is that project down, like that old mill office building up by, not the,
Bagley.
Bagley.
I haven't been.
Those
there
are gonna
since
be
I was-
high end, aren't they? Gonna be a little bit more higher end? Are we talking about Pepin's building?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call them high end, but they're gonna be.
They're working right on it there, I walk by it every day.
Yeah, it looks like they're making good progress, but
They're working on it every day.
And the church, as we know, that's for sale. I don't think it's been bought yet. And that was built in stages. The bottom layer was actually lifted up and now is rotting out within that structure. You can actually see it from the outside. So I don't know if they can save that building. But that would create a nice big lot for somebody to come in and invest in, I think. That's what I'm looking for as we look at the future here. And then, of course, you have my lot, which abuts the town lots now. And then when Luke read what I could do with my property and couldn't do with my property, I didn't realize I can't have conferences or meetings, and I have a room there now that's bigger than this room, slightly bigger than this room, that I set up that I could actually have meetings and maybe have a drone club or whatever, and can't do that unless it's in the downtown zone. Looking at my property, I just want to give you a little bit more information on this. All these piles of dirt, I thank Mark, because all these piles that you see here and up and back all came from his property over here. I'm going to try and I'm not the best at moving this around. I have to actually kind of go out once in a while, and I may have to go out again, because I really want to show the beautiful project that Mark did. It'll only take me a minute.
No, I have a permit with your signature on it, magnetized right to the front of my refrigerator.
For a patio?
Yes, I paid the fee. Your name is on a piece of paper saying, giving you.
Mark, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you, Mark?
It's right, you can come up to my house right after this, and it's still right there. It's the only thing that's stuck to my refrigerator. It's got your signature on it. It's said I could build a pergola, I could do a patio project, so it's permitted.
So the biggest thing I'm missing.
I haven't shown you where I want the line yet. This is Mark's nice new patio in the back.
Yeah, it looks great. Where do you want the line?
Who cares?
Yeah, they do. They care. Oops.
Your apology, Mark.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Yes, you can come and do the inspection. if you
Jeez,
want.
Luke.
I did
I
not
can't,
remember.
he's on your own planning board, for crying out
It's
loud.
not like I
I follow, I'm a rule
am
follower.
busy or anything, you know?
All right.
Yeah, you've taken care of quite a bit of work right there in
So-
that corner.
So as I talked with Luke, I really don't care about the backyard at all. So if the line came up to Mark's line right here, he owns this property back, okay?
Is that Mark's house right there?
No, that's Lynn's house,
It's above the,
yeah.
it's
And-
above there.
Yeah, and that's probably gonna be for sale here in the next couple of years. Lynn Swift lives there, her son owns the building now, and they've been trying to find a place for her to go. Yeah, I don't want to say reasons why. Anyway, they've been working on it, so let's back up. So I told Luke, I asked Luke, I did not tell Luke.
Why were you sitting out there in a bathrobe?
What's that? Yeah, can you see that? So anyway, I asked Luke if I could take the...
It's really not there. It's totally
It's
giving
not.
a hard time.
So I asked him if we could have a line go from my property here, okay, straight across over to the Woodward property. I talked to Georgia, my next door neighbor, she has no problem with it at all, okay? And I just thought, it's a dead-end street. I then become part of the downtown property. I can do a conference, I can have meetings, I can set that up. I'm all set to put in a handicap bathroom, all the things that are needed to make that accessible, including a ramp.
And your road does have the same access off Franklin Street as the rest of what we
Yes.
talked about.
Yes.
It's the
What's
same
that?
You could put a
access.
pool out back, and it could be a community.
No,
pool.
no, that's more going to be parking and gardening and pretty.
I don't see a playground in that neighborhood.
Ah, there is one.
Picnic.
That's true.
There actually is one in that neighborhood.
I don't see a playground right there.
No, but in that specific.
That's a really good point, Lou.
I don't know.
Maybe we should make some contingencies. My other thought is that if the Woodward property becomes part of the commercial scenario, then I lose my opportunity to torture you with my Harley at 2:30 in the morning.
Really?
That could be a thing. That could be a nice residential house for people that are looking for housing.
Yes,
know?
could be.
That's a thing.
Yes, could be. So, ask me any questions, anything you'd like to ask. Obviously, I can't vote, so.
Yeah.
Well,
That all makes sense. That all actually looks, that's good. That's good growth if those properties are in rough shape, needing to be removed, potentially.
Potentially.
I mean, already the one on Main Street's been available for how many years? Do you know what I mean? Like, do we need more
what?
empty, like, you're talking about making, eventually these things will be raised, then there'll be an empty business?
But we don't know if they'll be raised.
Well, if they are, it won't be by a town.
No, it won't be
You're
by the
talking about
town.
27 Main Street?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that was, I mean, that's really, how long has it taken to redevelop that into a business?
Well, I think that
Right.
lot, though, because of the hill in the background, has been a troubling to try and figure out how to do that lot.
That came in front of the Economic Development Committee last week, and there are things happening with
Yeah,
that.
there are things happening on the economic
No,
committee.
I'm not
Oh,
talking
we're talking about the
specifically,
land.
I'm just saying the amount of time, like, if you clear things,
There are several.
it takes time for those things. That
Yeah.
There's
probably won't be
several
alive by that time.
reasons why 27 Main has been difficult. The Hill is one of them. The town's desire to have commercial on the first level of anything that goes in there has scared off some developers. There's been people that have come forward, they want to put low-income housing in there and stuff, and the council didn't feel like that was the right fit for Main Street. So I don't know if those same issues.
Wasn't that what was there before?
I don't know.
This is
There
Main
was-
Street,
yeah,
I guess is what I'm
yeah, I'm
saying.
not sure.
So it might be different, I don't know. It might not, I don't know.
The only
And
thing
we
else
also
I
already
see-
have Dick Campbell looking at this area.
Well, Dick's already
His-
talking to the Woodwards.
Woodwards.
Yes, he's already talking to them.
I mean, it would be nice to see some kind of sidewalk on Central Street. I mean, you've got this one road bisecting two halves of
I
the
agree with you.
downtown.
It's absolutely necessary.
Which is why I asked about the sidewalk. I mean, if you're gonna have kids playing, why not have, like, I'd rather see people walking on a sidewalk. My mother-in-law lives up on Forest Hill, like, people were walking in the street.
Yeah,
And now, that's wide enough that could have a sidewalk.
Yep.
I agree.
It's a good public safety thing. It encourages people to get out and walk, which is good for good public health.
Who's gonna maintain it though?
The sidewalk?
Downtown, we have crews
Yeah,
out
right.
there on
Well,
that
Forest
subdivision.
Hill's not that far.
No, Forest Hill could be done, but I'm just saying Mike and Melissa Osborne's proposed subdivision, that's out there.
Well, they got a road that's going in too that they're going to maintain for a while. So I think that Mark's bringing up a good point. Why not the sidewalks too?
I was curious. That was my question there. But
Yeah.
but this one here, like Central Street, now you're bringing a business in, depending on what goes in there as a business, if it's zoned
Could be
business,
100%.
on kind of a narrow
I thought it was
central artery without even a sidewalk. So
So,
that
one of the things that we've talked
Are
about
we gonna
sidewalks on
extend it
Central
over
Street
here, too?
before,
Are we
because
gonna
that's a
extend it this
dangerous stretch of road for people to
Go
walk on,
back
especially
over
at
this way.
night.
No.
I'll just go from your house.
But those houses
Yeah.
are so close
I'll
that there's
have
no
to work on
good
that.
way to do it right
What
now.
if they want to do
But
a
if
meeting
those
room
houses
in
were
there?
gone or changed,
Yeah.
then
Both of them. They
absolutely
can't do a
that would
meeting
be
No,
in there.
there's not going to be
something to
anything.
bring
It's all
before the council
apartments.
or make a requirement of
Larry's
whoever's
put in all
developing.
apartments.
just, even the one down by the back of McLeod's there, you get this.
Yeah, we know, it's bad. But it's
It's just a pole, like right
there's
in the
a
middle.
pole right there that.
Like a lunch
Could have
or
been over
something, you know.
2 feet and not be
That's,
in the middle of the sidewalk. I mean, it's.
That's one of the things that study that they're doing of downtown
How did
right
the
now
school get away
is
with
going
it,
to look
you know what
at. One of the things we'd love to
When I
see
was-
come from
when I
that
went to
study
Warren,
is
so.
get the power on Main Street and stuff underground. but it's a huge undertaking. But if they could do it, that would solve problems like that. And that's far from the only telephone pole that's in the middle of a sidewalk. They're all over the place.
How about at the Miles Lane School where it's like right smack dab in the middle of the parking lot up by the soccer fields?
Yeah.
Probably not much I can do about that one.
I mean, you can hit it.
You could literally drive into it if you were not paying attention to what you were doing.
So what is needed from us on this particular, we need
Well,
to approve this, recommend it to the council, or?
I mean, I can take it to the council if you want, or does anybody have any proposed, like, do you want more than that? Do you want to
So-
go over all the way over to Elm Street? Do you want to do all of Dick's property? I mean, it's
No.
hard, I can't do half a property.
Well, you can't do half a property. Well, you didn't tell me that.
There's no, how could you do half a property?
I told you I wanted the line in the back. I'll have to subdivide. Okay, thank you.
Would you really subdivide if that were the case?
I guess I could do half a property, but it's gonna be bizarre.
I never thought about that when we talked. I just said, geez, I don't need the whole property, I just need the building. That's all I was looking for, was the building, and then I looked at Woodward and found, knew they were gonna be selling, and the shape of the house, and Dick Campbell talking to them, talking to the church. I'm sure he's gonna be talking to the folks that are gonna eventually own the apartment building. So, I don't know what he's gonna do. I have no clue.
Well, history would be that nothing.
Oh, then you
Just
would
on
go.
top.
Yeah. They-
Is he buying the Woodward
Have you
house?
done anything in town that you talked about?
We're gonna have to discuss it.
So anyway, moving on, back on this,
I
for this scenario.
I'm fine with it.
And this is important with your land.
Yes.
Mr. Joester, that you're serious right now. I'm talking to Luke about this whole drawing a line behind your house scenario. Does he need to include the whole property, or,
Why does it
I'm
matter?
trying to think about, there's lots that are partially in shoreline zone and partially not, so I don't see why this couldn't be.
alright.
I would have to put on the tax map.
Do you have the tax map right there?
cards.
Are you on a time constraint?
None. I even told him we didn't have to talk about it tonight.
Well,
I said it could be October.
why don't you two talk and do some research on how that would work, and we can table this for now. How does that sound?
That's up to Luke.
Are we just talking about half a property?
Yeah, half of his property.
Well, why does it matter if it's the whole thing?
Well, again, when you're looking at a map for downtown, you want to keep it as you did here, as neat as can be,
Right.
okay? So I was just doing Buckley Lane coming up and over. I'd like to do all of Buckley because Lynn's going to sell at some point, but anyway, Buckley Lane and then coming in the back.
What I just asked.
This lot right here,
I'm trying to keep it simple.
this place right here, isn't that where we used to go to the middle school? Well, what was the middle school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why
I
don't
make a
we
motion
call
we
that-
table this issue until next meeting.
I will come to the next meeting with a proposal.
Second that motion.
All in favor? Excellent.
Good job.
Limited public forum, an opportunity for the public to address the board on matters related to land use or planning in the town of Bucksport. That forum is now open. No one's calling?
Question, are you talking about if I want to discuss the illegal left turn that people are taking when they come out of the Family Dollar store? Is that a concern that you're talking about? No? Okay.
No, but you could, I believe she could bring it up if she wanted to.
If you want to tell us something, we can,
This would be
we
the time
can, we can
to...
pass it on to whoever could take control of something for
I
a
would.
minute.
I really would.
I can give you a few minutes for that.
I told you my name is Sue Walsh. I live at 123 US Route 1, which is the blue house across the road from the Family Dollar store. I'm on the riverside. Great place to do a drone off my back deck, by the way. So, at any rate, that's a future conversation. Route 1 traffic, you know what Route 1 traffic is like. Try living where I live. Getting in and out of my driveway is a nightmare to begin with. But when I'm pulling in, if I'm coming from Hannaford, I pull just past my edge of my driveway. And I'm watching in the rearview mirror. I'm making sure there's no traffic coming, and I will back into my driveway, back around and come into my driveway. I cannot tell you how many times when the complex was, in fact, that was the last town meeting I was at, it was over 13, 14, 15 years ago, the town, planning board, town council, I'm not sure what meeting I was at, this town voted that there would be no left turn from that exit. If they want to go that way, they have to go down around to that little road.
Park Street.
Yes, thank you. The people, the sign, there's a yellow pole with a sign on it saying no left turn. But when you're coming out of there and you're sitting here watching for traffic, the pole's back here. When they first opened, there were lines painted on the road, right turn only. Time has eroded those lines. I am so tired of almost getting creamed by people coming out of that and turning left and almost hitting me as I'm backing in my driveway, and they honk at me as if it's my fault. I know there's no traffic coming down the road, but I'm not seeing these illegal people turning left there.
Is that something you can pass on to Jay to call the state? That's a state?
It's not the state.
It's not the state?
people that own it's Ellis.
And, yeah, we've had a lot of bad luck with them.
So I will have to have a talk with Ellis.
Chief Winchester last week was parked at the empty lot next to my house, and I came home and I walked over and talked to him. And there was a car that did it right there. And I told him, look, and he said, well, that sign is really just a suggestion. I said, that's not a suggestion.
No, he's correct.
I was at the town meeting where they voted there would be no left turn from that exit. What happened?
Advisory signs.
Yep.
They're not enforcing.
Advisory signs. And yep, I am with you 110%. It's only be advisory.
Then let me ask you this. I retired 2 years ago after 30 years at Seaboard Federal Credit Union. We have a one-way entrance, one way in, other way out. What's the difference between Seaboard's requirements and this complex?
Who posted the sign? Who posted the sign, the town or Seaboard?
I have no idea who posted the sign at Seaboard. I mean, I wasn't working, that was over 30 years ago. I wasn't
I'm a
working
little
at the
off some of
time.
that stuff, okay? It was posted by the bank.
Credit union?
Sign.
Correct.
Which
Credit
means
union.
that it's an advisory and
Which
no
house is yours
enforcement.
up there?
Now, if it's posted by the town signs are never for fun, they're always for keeps, okay?
That you were
So a
saying?
town sign is not advisory. It is,
Right there.
Right
you
there.
will not do what that sign says.
Maybe I could talk to Jay then.
Unless it's been changed,
It's a
if you like me on
No,
that.
It's a serious
last I
concern.
knew, that was the same scenario where if it was private property
Yeah.
posted by the bank, that's a bank scenario. And if it's a landowner scenario, like Hannaford's,
Yeah.
Hannaford has the same thing. That sign at Hannaford that says you can't turn left out of that other lane.
Hannaford?
Yeah.
Hannaford has two lanes, one for the left and one for the right.
Yeah, but
Are you talking about Hink Street?
Hink Street. No, not Hink Street. Hannaford used to have a sign there that said they didn't want you to turn left. I remember that, and that went away. That was there for about 2 months. But anyway, that's based on Hannaford. That's up to Hannaford. And same thing with Seaboard, that's up to Seaboard. So if it's a private
You're down Hicks
sign,
Street onto Route 1, and you're looking right at Hannaford. There is a sign posted right there at that stop sign that says, no left turn. Okay?
Going in or coming out?
Coming down Hicks Street,
Oh, Hink
That's
Street,
what it
okay,
is.
Hink Street, okay.
yeah, there was a sign right
Yeah,
there on the
no
stop
left
sign that
turn.
says, no left turn.
Okay.
I can assure you that sign is not advisory, okay? That
Okay.
was either posted by DOT or the town of Bucksport, but it's enforceable.
that,
ordinance.
Okay.
correct.
Then,
The key is who posts the sign. The key is who is the one that puts the sign.
Can you look up there and tell us, is this your house here, where I got the hand over it?
hang on, where are you?
There's the
That's
entrance
the
I think you're
complex.
talking about.
Yeah, John Daniels, and John owns the house next to me, the gingerbread house, and that one is mine.
That's
It's
where the
now,
hand is.
it's now got blue siding and a
Yep.
deck on the back, but
Okay.
yes, it's an older photo because I've,
And is there a reason why you're backing in? It
What I
looks like
did-
you have room to turn around.
going front, no, I don't.
You don't?
Coming from town,
Yeah?
if I drive into my driveway, I don't have room to turn around,
Okay.
okay? What I do is I go past my driveway and back in.
Yeah.
Because straight out is the only way I'm gonna get out of my
Okay.
driveway.
And you do have
And if
an
I'm
angle
coming,
there
if
to
I'm
back
coming
in.
from the other direction,
Yeah?
I've got traffic backed up to the old Spring Fountain.
This time of year, I don't doubt you for a second.
But when they come out of that driveway and turn left, I'm here. I can see in my mirror, I can see down the road. Can't see over there. And this sign, I don't even,
So do you turn around and come back if you're coming from like Ellsworth?
I could have the Hannaford and turn around there and come back sometimes.
Oh, gosh.
Because this is, I love my house.
Yeah.
But I'm about ready, I've started to clean out the basement, I'm starting to downsize it. I'm gonna be putting that up for sale sometime soon, hopefully. Because I'm 67 years old, and I am tired of,
It
I'm tired of
almost
this.
looks like that
When it's not
driveway's
me.
built to turn left.
when it's not me that's
It
the
ought to be straightened
problem.
out.
It's, we're lucky.
I agree with you, Joe.
We're lucky if we haven't,
He's
if
saying
we've had
the
accidents there, I'm
driveway
not
is
aware of
built,
it,
almost makes
but
it
we've
like
had
it's
so many
parallel.
come close.
Yes, I agree.
And the driveway next door to me, and John made his turnaround to help him out. We have a horrible time with people turning left there, and they're not supposed to. Whether, somehow, I don't know where the interpretation got to be that, oh, it's a suggestion. It wasn't. Back when we had that town meeting or planning board meeting, I don't remember which it was. I was so nervous at speaking that I gave everybody my wrong name.
I'll
you
go
guys get
just
back
in
to
an
it.
entrance.
All right, so Luke will get back to you with what he can find out on
Okay.
that to point you in the direction of,
Of course we can.
Can we
or maybe Jay will get back to you.
I thank you
I
for
don't think you
hearing
want
me
to bring
out.
that up
I
tonight.
appreciate it.
You are welcome.
It's been very interesting
You
being
do
here.
what you want,
Oh,
because
okay.
see, it's already here.
We'll close the limited public forum. Any discussion?
Now it's the
Excellent.
time. No, there's a discussion here.
I have a question.
All right, Crystal has a question.
Luke, can we make that an in only and an out going out Park Street? Similar to what goes on down to Seaboard.
I'd have to talk to Jay and Public Safety and see.
Well,
It
now
would be
that Park
hard
Street
because That
is,
is such a wide exit. That's like a 3-lane wide stretch of pavement there. It's very hard to, it's easier, like with what she was saying about Seaboard, you're not gonna fit multiple cars through that.
entrance.
It's obvious that it's a one-way. If you try and go the wrong way, it's very obvious that, oh, I'm going out the end. But it's not like that here. So people don't, like she said, it's behind you, they don't see it, they
The high school did it
don't
too.
know they're doing something wrong.
Yeah, people at the high school,
The high school
they go
did it.
out the, it says one way, and they go out the entrance, so, it's, I
They
mean, it's not that
changed
hard
it.
to drive, another 100 feet.
Yeah, I thought
to
that
the-
had been changed. I
No,
thought
still-
that if you were coming from the gym down there, you could go out down there.
No, that's how we
Still,
come in.
do not enter.
And coming in for a ball game and whatever, in the middle of the winter, there's people flying out of there and the other, in the wrong way. I mean, they're getting out of wrestling practice or whatever. Anyway, with this, I mean, you could even, what if you just got rid of that, driveway, made everybody come in through the sideway, come up Park Street as the in and the out. I mean,
I
that's,
think Ellis would probably flip if they tried that. But, there might be ways to control traffic by narrowing it or something. There's certainly some things we can look at.
Was
I don't
there,
know that we have any authority to force it, but we can certainly.
was there
make
any reason
suggestions.
that they made it so no left turn for, other than for the houses over there? Was there a reason because of I know with Duncan, because of the way the hill was, they had to have their parking in a certain space.
It was probably a DOT suggestion, because DOT usually likes to limit the points of entry. If you look at the trade winds, they didn't want them to have an out onto US Route 1.
that was going to be my example, is, trade winds, like, you can figure out how to get in there.
I think it had a lot to do with view from traffic heading towards the Ellsworth side, because the road curves right there. You see how the line doesn't stay center if you're headed towards Eddie Mercer's store, and if you turn right, it's very visible. But if you were going to go left, your line of sight is just bushes and trees.
Just looking at it
So-
from this view, it looks like you can take a left turn there because of the way the road is angled.
It does.
You know what I mean? It's wider on that left side if you were turning out than turning right. Just saying.
Everybody drives on that sidewalk late at night. They're not drunk, it's just the road's messed up and they hit the sidewalk. It's just the way it is. But, anyway.
Down there, like, if you look at Park Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. The paint makes that on Park Street, you know where you should be. So it's kind of free-for-all Old West out there by that house.
Painting makes a big difference for sure.
All right, good discussion.
Yeah.
Good point.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Excellent.